hot. So, Civ, you know what's the best way to spend a Friday night?
What is it, Nito?
I don't know because it's still Friday evening, so I kind of messed up on that there. But we do have a Division 6 Grand Finals matchup here for y'all. It's going to be the
Yeah!
IVC Stingrays from Irvine Valley facing off against High Tide from the University of Alabama. I'm Nito, joined by the one and only Severino. It is a great way to start the Friday evening / night schedule.
Yeah, and also a great way to start off the weekend. A Division 6 Grand Finals match here, folks. How are you feeling today, Nito?
Well, we actually discussed this before the stream, so we've got that out of the way, but let's just say I'm certainly feeling, and I do have feelings. How about you?
I'm hanging in there, you know, the semester really hitting on me, but honestly, with Division 6 Grand Finals happening now, hopefully it can brighten up my spirits, and I hope it will for you, Nito, and I hope everyone in chat are feeling really good right now. But anyways, we are gonna get things going here. What do we have now going on, Nito?
It is a heck of a matchup we've got waiting for us on the other side of this quick intermission. High Tide from Alabama coming in with a 5-0 record into the playoffs. Nearly doing pretty neatly in the regular season. 5 total losses there from their sets. They beat Chicago Trans Inc. Authority in the quarterfinals. They beat Scat's Yellow Team 5-4. That was a very close set there to make their way into the grand finals. Looking at IVC Stingrays, they have the 4-1 record. Their one loss coming against Onsu White. That's going to be 0-4. That is the only loss in the entire season. They beat Black Sea Dragons and Stingray Incorporated to make their way to the grand finals. It's been a shaky ride for IVC, maybe more so than High Tide, but there's no doubt with the records it placed, these two teams absolutely deserve to be in the grand finals.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, honestly, both of these teams, well, I don't know too much about the University of Alabama, so I'm very excited to see what they have going on right now. And speaking of which, game number 1 is about to begin on Robo Ramen Splat Zones. Let's see what comps do we have here.
We got the first ones coming out. High Tide is coming in with a Hydra Splatling. That's an interesting pick you don't see too often coming from the Anchor side or at least from Splatoon. Looking at High Tide, it looks like it's more of what you'll see conventionally, an S-Blast, a Decapitator for that bubble. Very good on the competitive Splatoon side, and of course you have the Tantech and you have the Headit, which is going to serve for those coolers.
The meta-defining comp versus the unorthodox comp. I love to see it. But anyways, we see High Tide off to a pretty good start here, as they were able to get 3 picks, leaving the Octoshot alone out in the abyss here. But the Octoshot does have their special ready, as well as the sloshing machine here.
Interesting to note is that High Tide's still playing a little farther back here. High Tide knows they have all these specials in hand, but it's actually going to be IVC who might be able to turn things around. As Stingray is looking for a zone cap here, but they do not get it. Alabama still holding on to the zone here. 42 points remaining. A cooler stands right in front of this Booyah. Excellently placed. Does get a pick, though. High Tide still holding on. They got 2 players down, but they're still holding on to the zone here until this might turn around, and it does.
What a great retake coming from the Stingrays here. We see them just able to use their specials and their bombs so well that they were able to recap it immediately, leaving High Tide to retreat back to their spawn point here. And we see the Stingrays now trying to be in front of the objective, which is the key in succeeding in splat zones here.
Absolutely, and another key as they see is going to be making sure you can keep your team far back, which is what IVC is now starting to do. High Tide was in this situation a few minutes prior. Now it's IVC looking to lock things out for Alabama, and Java might be able to switch things up here. 2 players going down here. High Tide looking for a way in. Can they cap it before the lead swap? No, they do not. They might be able to cap it at least and give themselves some breathing room, but they do not. Booyah Bomb trying to come in for some relief there. Does not amount to anything there. 10 points remaining. 2 people repainting the zone for High Tide. IVC still holding on to the zone. These Sharp Stride is going to come in greatly. That Booyah Bomb seals the deal, and IVC takes game 1.
Wow, what a great start to this set here, folks. Yeah, like High Tide at first like immediately just took a lot of control of the zone here and a little bit in front of it. But IVC Stingrays just turned it around and was able to like switch the lead, and I think once they were in front of the objective and like were in like successful key positions, this led them in getting that in that switch and everything, and resulting in that successful knockout.
Right. I mean, the combination of all that was available to them at the end here comes in greatly. But what matters the most here is that IVC was just able to mount a push and an effort that lasted for so long. It was actually ultimately more disruptive than what High Tide brought in the first push of the game. And that lasted long enough to where High Tide was put into a sort of panic mode. You hear commentators talk a lot about panic situations, talk a lot about hero plays, desperation plays. This is what Alabama ultimately had to resort to, and it's not like these two teams are. It's not like these two teams were mollywopping one another. I mean, it was still very close from both sides. Both of these teams trading away turns on the zone, but still a lot to look forward to. It is game 1, so I always call it the warm-up, win or lose. We'll see what comes out of both of these teams later on.
Yeah, a warm-up round for sure. But anyways, I guess while we wait for game number 2 to begin, I might as well talk a little bit about the IVC Stingrays, since I do have a little bit of some history with them. You know, just seeing them throughout the last couple of seasons. They've definitely have had quite a history for sure. You know, like during circuit finals and even during league season 5 and everything. Like, these guys have been just they've been going through all these like changes, like for example players coming and going, and despite that, like, they're still holding strong. Like, they are just able to like keep pushing through regardless of the changes, and yeah, just honestly making like a lot of waves during the circuit finals, and even during the circuit, and even during the season 5 of the league. And as for High Tide, again, I know I already said this before, I'm not entirely too familiar with them, but I am very excited to see like what they have going on in store for me, at least. And from what you mentioned earlier, Nito, I can tell that they're definitely a strong team for sure in their division. But anyways, folks, what do we have here for game number 2 here, Nito?
Slight swap for the IVC Stingrays here. They swap out the machine and bring in a rapid blaster instead, which is going to help, at least on a map like this, is you do want more coverage of these ledges here, so it's a reasonable choice here. High Tide opting to stick for more of the same we saw in that previous match. Now we're going to tower control on ship shape, so nice change here from IVC, looking to adapt to these new map changes, and it's ultimately going to be them taking first dibs at the tower.
Yeah, right now, things are still pretty neutral for both these teams here. Just players coming down one by one on both sides. But as I say that here, the IVC Stingrays are now having most of the control here and able to start a push going here, leaving High Tide in a bit of a pickle here.
Right, and there was 2 players that just went down. Both of them have been doing remarkably well on High Tide. It was a Decapitator and the Tenatech from High Tide. When both of them go down, that means there's not much for High Tide to do other than just sit back and wait for them to come back. Here's Key Dog trying to get a push on the tower, but like I said, with none of that support around him, it becomes extra difficult for High Tide to make a move. IVC Stingray still holding on to the tower.
Yeah, and now they're finally able to get a real push going here. And as we see here, the Shada is doing a lot of work here, able to get a couple of picks here and there. But unfortunately, though, the push does have to stop here, as a couple of members from the Stingrays do go down here, and so did the Shot. And now, High Tide is now going in with their first push.
Oh, and another loss there with High Tide. Alabama looking to keep they want to keep all their numbers here because otherwise it becomes so difficult to. It's been difficult for them to manage a retake against a team like IVC who can just support each other so well with these longer range weapons. They do have the Rapid Blaster. See how that Rapid Blaster is helping out Mudkip there at the bottom of the screen. There's a lot of help for IVC, and High Tide does have the lead now. But the question will be how long does it last, especially with High Tide suffering from all of these some of these staggered picks. It leaves them slowed down here.
Yeah, and again, IVC just once again trying to start another push, but with this with the strikes coming out from High Tide, this does result in a bit of a neutral for mid here, as we saw earlier in the start of the game here. And my goodness, Nito, just a lot of players from both teams coming down one by one, and we haven't seen like a really far out push from what I'm noticing.
Right, and it's these types of matches that you notice. It's where both of these teams are just trading over and over and over again, to where none of these teams are able to get a solid push off the ground. But it might change here. IVC, or actually High Tide rather, has 2 picks off the ground there. IVC though, it's going to be Mudkip there with that one pick. It has to back out though. There are 4 players on Alabama ready to react. A little bit of a jiggle there for Key Dog. That's a little. Oh goodness.
Whoa! Hello there, Key Dog.
Well then, there's still another tri-strike that just came out, and that something we're gonna keep an eye on as the rest of this match continues.
Yeah, honestly, I thought that there was gonna be a bit of a crash going on in this lobby here, but apparently not. I guess it was just a moment kind of thing. But as we see here, we're going back to what we mentioned before here, Nito. Just the same like back and forth between these two teams, but High Tide able to take out a few of the members of the Stingrays, and now they're taking the control here and maybe potentially see a push. I don't know. You know, after what we've been seeing, like, I don't think it's never gonna go past 70.
It's really easy to say that right now. I've known too much about the commentators to talk any further, but that's 3 players going down for High Tide. IVC Stingrays looking very solid here, but K-Dog still having some, we'll just let the VOD just tell you what's going on there. But IVC continuing with their push. High Tide has increased their lead by 2 points, but of course the question will be how long does it last? That we have Java and Mudkip going off for a fight here in the court. Mudkip goes down, but so does Mudkip themselves. Wallow there on the side almost goes down as well, and it's still 20 seconds to go. High Tide holding on to the zone here. Remarkably, no team has gone past checkpoint 1, but both of these teams are very close, and both of these teams are looking for a shot at the tower. I mean, look, they're still in mid here. Oh.
Yeah, I think, like, from what I'm noticing... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, like, I feel like from what I'm noticing, like, you know what, I'll explain later, but... oh my god, Nito, like, I'm kind of a little bit, like, just a little all over the place by what I've been seeing here, and I'm sure you are as well. But anyways, High Tide is able to get game number 2 in their favor, resulting in a tie between these two teams.
Yeah, I know I mentioned it already in the stream, but none of these teams got past the first checkpoint. It's so... And you see this replay right here, and obviously ignoring the secret tri-strike dodging tech that has just been discovered by Keydog. IVC Stingrays was all grouped up there. All of a sudden, pop a few specials, and all of a sudden you're at the tower. We need to see a little bit more from that from IVC. They have the right idea here. They're coordinating their specials. They know exactly where they want to pop them. They want to open up this right side here so they can get themselves towards that tower. The only thing is they need to continue that support because there were 2 players there. Walu was waiting. I wouldn't say waiting for him, just happened to be right place at the right time. If we can get more of that support for IVC, then this is going to be less of a back-to-back affair and more of these dramatic pushes as we saw in game 1.
Yeah, back-to-back for sure. As I mentioned earlier, I think, like, from what I'm noticing, like, these teams are, like, they have been like just going at each other, and this results in like just one player going down on the Stingrays side, and then one player going down on High Tide side. And I feel like what I'm noticing is that these two teams are like not trying to mess up in regards to like having the control in mid, because you know, especially since this was ship shape on tower control, there's always bound to be a bit of a snowball effect for sure. And I think like what these teams were trying to do is that they were trying not to like, you know, mess up, because if one of them does, then it's going to result in it's going to result in one team in a disadvantage, while the other team is going to instantly dominate the entire like game and everything. So that's what I noticed. I'm not sure if you agree with that, but yeah. So it looks like we are going head straight to game number 3. My goodness, y'all, I'm a little bit tired. But game number 3 is going to be Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track.
It's understandable. Almost all of us, even in production, in the commentary booth, and even in chat, are college students. So don't worry, guys, just a few more weeks, unless you have a different semester. Oh well. But the one thing I like about this one, Rainmaker Humpback, is that whatever you saw in Game 1, you could very much see in Game 3. What I mean by that is I've seen matches that have been won and lost all within the last minute of the game. I think this could be no different. IVC and High Tide IVC and Alabama have both shown this ability to come off a tremendous retake and make a retake of their own, and all of a sudden they're in enemy territory. All of a sudden the other team just doesn't know what to do, has to wait a while for a pick or two to come out, and boom, job's over. So I do want to see some more coming up from IVC, and I want to see if this sub that came in, I just got news that they did make a sub. Saf is going to be coming in for IVC, and we'll see what this changes with. Okay, now there's a scope and dabbles. Ooh. That is going to be reslider. That's what I'm looking for, and a wellstring coming out from High Tide as well.
I mean, I am not opposed to Dapple dualies on Humpback Rainmaker. I feel like with Dapples in general, like it does let them just be free, roaming around the entire map, able to do a lot of flanks and stuff like that. And speaking of which, the Dapple dualies was able to get a pick, and now this now leaves IVC Stingrays in a pretty solid advantage here.
And it's still it's actually a tremendous push here from IVC. They do get the checkpoint. That was rough. And I wouldn't say it was rough. What happened afterwards was rough because they did lose 3 players, but I think they made their case here. But at High Tide, though, they're getting the staggered picks here. That's going to be even better for High Tide, who needs to mount this push very quickly here. They already have Java making their way farther up the front line, but it's going to be IVC that takes control. But nobody's there to stop Percy. Percy making a run in a century here. Nobody stops Percy. Had us fooled. Had the camera operator fooled. And they take game 3 just like that.
Oh my god, Nito. I was not expecting that, My mind was thinking, okay, so High Tide is going to have a really solid push here, but I guess what they don't realize is someone sharking there, because if there is someone sharking near the Rainmaker, this does put them a little bit, my bad. That was a little bit poorly worded, but when you don't grab the Rainmaker, and just go up and start to claiming mid and stuff like that, this will leave a player to shark, and so I guess the lesson that we've learned is do not leave the Rainmaker open.
So this is what I mean when I say games have been won and lost in the first minute, because this happened within the first minute of the match. Percy just makes a run for it. Nobody on Alabama's team is any wiser. IVC, this has happened to me before, believe it or not, in competitive Splatoon. This has happened to me. I've been on the giving end of this. I've been on the receiving end of this. All that happens here is complete, just like loss of focus. I mean, everyone's already here at the pedestal for High Tide. And the problem is there's nobody near this Rainmaker ready to pick it up. They had this push set up very well with the way everyone was positioned, especially with the decaf getting ready to pop the bubble. But ultimately, nobody's at this Rainmaker. And Percy sees his opportunity, knows nobody else is respawning, taking a run with it, and they already had that checkpoint cleared, which added even more. I mean, that was just highway robbery almost.
Yeah, that was for sure. My goodness, man, I still cannot get my mind off of that. I don't know if you saw it there, but I think from what I saw in the replay, I think one of the members from High Tide was trying to get the Rainmaker, but I think they might have gone down when the Sharker was able to just came out of nowhere and got the pick, and just immediately just rushed all the way down there. And meanwhile, all the rest of the members from High Tide were in mid and near the first checkpoint and stuff like that. So I think because of that, this might have put them in a really good advantage, securing game number 3 in their favor. I still cannot get over that. But anyways, moving on from here, folks, we are heading straight to game number 4, Scorch Gorge on Clan. Oh wait, Scorch Gorge on Clan Blitz. Sorry, I thought for a second I butchered that, but I was right all along.
That is absolutely correct. Scorch Gorge on Clan Blitz. Now, if there's any point where you want to pay more attention to the objective, this is it, because I've seen games won and lost because of teams not having a good job maintaining their clan economy. You need to make sure you have things to push with. And if I'm High Tide, I'm still taking this. I'm still taking the objective as much as I should have taken seriously in Game 3, because that clan economy could be very sneaky if you allow IVC to sneak up on you like they did in Game 3. So as long as you maintain that, everything else was fine. I would just like to see High Tide keep control of how many, or just keep a mental note on how many clams they have and how much they have and when they're ready for a push.
Yeah, and also making sure to keep an eye out for the flanks, because who knows what IVC might do, because sometimes they can be full of surprises. But anyways, game number 4 is beginning here, folks, and I do see some changes coming from the Stingrays.
Absolutely, some of these changes seem, and one of them is going to be the brush. The brush is done. So brush is it's not quite a niche pick. It's well known as a very funny clan bits pick, though, and that's exactly what IVC is doing. They want to try to maintain what they found in the game 3 and try to see if they can find some more magic in game 4. High Tide, though, opting for the E leader, and that's huge. That's going to be good. That's because they want to keep IVC staggered. They want to keep IVC and make sure they have mental tabs on everybody. But maybe you don't need mental tabs, because those mental tabs have been shredded away by Mudkip and that splat and that ultra stamp. Now getting 3 players down. That D leader is on the other side of the map, but it doesn't matter because they just lost the power clan, but it's up. Someone else will pick it up there. 60 remaining, and a big push here for IVC at the beginning.
Yeah, this is what we said earlier here, folks. You just gotta really be careful, because as we mentioned before, IVC can be full of surprises. But unfortunately, though, this is the end of a push, though. Even though 60 is still a solid push, it will change if you mess up your defense and stuff like that. But anyways, it looks like High Tide is in a really solid advantage here, taking control of top mid and maybe potentially start a push. But looking at the clam economy, yeah, it looks like they're trying to figure out who to give the clams to so that they can make a power clam. And this does result in IVC coming in and trying to take a mid. Oh dear. I do see a DC.
Well, it was bound to happen at some point, and just judging what we saw in Game 2, luckily it didn't happen in Game 3, otherwise we would have missed something huge. But IVC now operating with 3 players. I think we have... Now, this is the obligatory moment in the stream where we have to look at the rules real quick as we're commentating, but as we do that, High Tide is going on. One got a power clam in, and to get a few more in the basket. Yes, they do. That's 3 players down, but that's 4 players down for High Tide. IVC just barely stops them there. and that is going to be enough to keep them in the lead.
Wow, even with only just 3 players, like the Stingrays were just able to keep. Wait a minute. What? Whoa. I think I'm noticing a little bit more lag. Oh no! Oh man, a communication error has to happen. Thanks a lot, Nintendo. Oh man.
Okay,
Well,
so I did a quick review of the rules here. So in that first case, it did happen before 2-3 remaining and before either team hit 50 remaining or below. So it was a replay scenario. Whether or not these teams noticed it was a different story, but this is new. We've had the host, or actually, no, we've had our spec cam DC. So we either had a host DC. This means we either had a host DC or we had our spec cam DC. This is it's
yeah.
Splatoon.
Yeah. I mean, it was bound to happen at some point. I feel like in every single tournament that is being broadcasted, there's always bound to be a communication error. So it isn't the same without these kinds of situations happening. So yeah, it's all good here, folks. Bear with us as we try to get everything all set up again for y'all to watch. Honestly, I don't even know if the game is still going on or the entire lobby just exploded. I don't know. We're gonna have to find out soon enough.
And that news came in just now, actually. That was a host DC, so congratulations, we get Game 4 again. We are gonna start Game 4 again pretty soon.
Yeah, so that means that High Tide is now able to get a good idea as to what the Stingrays have going on, what they're trying to do in Scorch Gorge Clams. So they gotta rethink exactly what to do now and make sure to have a really good push, having control of the clam economy. I said clan. I don't know why I did that, but it's probably the same thing. Who cares? But anyways, they have to keep control of the clam economy. They also gotta keep an eye out for any flankers coming from IVC, since they were running both a brush and a wiper, which definitely is a pretty fast comp. If I don't know if you agree to that, Nino. So with all these with all the information that High Tide was able to get, hopefully they could apply that now in this upcoming reset for game number 4.
That's the interesting part about host DC, or really any situation where you have to reset network settings, whatever it is. It's interesting because you know what the other team runs, but the question is now you gotta look at your own team and think, all right, are y'all good enough to play here? But whatever. It's what I saw from both of these teams is that I like what IVC was doing, and at least what they were thinking with the brush, thinking that if we can catch them off guard, maybe we just need a brush, because the cool thing about brush is that you don't necessarily need to support it all the time. It is a weapon known for being so high in mobility that any team that tries to any player that tries to 1v1 it is going to have a very difficult time. So you don't necessarily need to support it, but you can help out by that brush can help out by dragging any player into trouble, and maybe that's what IVC was trying to go for as well. There, it's very difficult to determine. It seems like they were just playing a skirmisher role without the intention of bringing it to their own team's attention. But I do want to see what more they can do with that brush, especially considering that with this host DC, both of these teams will be required to keep their weapons. So they already know what they're pulling out here. Now do you have more time to think about it? How do you respond?
Yeah, all of these questions that you now have to think about, especially since the lobby just exploded and game number 4 isn't over just yet. you have all of the information you have now, so you gotta like think about that stuff, not only for about the other team, but also yourself and your teammates, stuff like that. All of these things. But here we go, folks. Game number 4 is again beginning. Let's see what sort of changes will we see here regarding strategy.
And of course, both of these teams pulling out the same weapons. Remember, it was a close lead before the disconnection there. Both of these teams were at 60 remaining, but ultimately IVC was going to be keeping their lead. So High Tide has some more. High Tide had a break there. They had some time to think this through. Apollo still trying to work this slosher here, see if they can get something or something to sneak by. Java and Apollo is a combination I want to see more of, especially with how much this slosher relies on chip damage and how much that decav relies on just swinging once and getting the pick there. IVC already has a power clam though, and they do have cooler. I want to see what else they follow this up with, unless you have Java there, able to get one pick. 2 now with that Ultra Stamp going down. 3 now.
Yeah, incredible picks they're coming from the decav. Like, those were actually very crucial picks, but this does leave High Tide in a really good advantage. They're now starting to get how to, like, play off of IVC Stingrays' comp here. And now, they are already at 59 remaining, and still trying to keep this push alive.
Okay, and I noticed that brush outside. I was also trying to do this, trying to get gather up plans, but they go down. High Tide now keeping a better eye on that possibly, but they go, they get wiped out here. 41 remaining is going to be the last mark from them. There's already a path to the basket painted for them. Whether or not that was what the brush was looking for, we don't know, but it is going to work out very well for them because that makes their pass just a little bit easier. Can they get a pick with that stamp? They do not, but High Tide having to clean up after IVC. Do they have enough to clean up afterwards? Maybe. It's Mudkip now with this wiper, trying to cover some ground, trying to get some distance here, but they do not get the power clam in actually.
Yeah, I think like what might have happened is that the Stingrays they were at a really good advantage, but the clam economy is now working out in their favor, and this puts High Tide with incredible defense that they were able to not let any members just cross their boundary, and now they're already past their defense and now trying to retake mid if possible, but IVC Stingrays are not giving up. They really are trying to make this push happen.
Right, and they're still looking for a way in, but notice that High Tide has still been able to keep them at bay, or maybe IVC is keeping themselves at bay, knowing that this brush needs a way in. And it's almost like this team is operating solely on this brush and hoping that this brush can find something in. And maybe it's going to be this Ultra Stamp to find something. Management here with the brush going for Kevdot, gets 2 there in the process. This could be the jump start they're looking for. Apollo there nearly gets themselves in trouble, and they do have a power clam in. IVC looking to get more points on the board, and they do. Can they get this power clam in as well? They do, but do they have anything to follow up with? Maybe not quite. 2 minutes to go. IVC gets a big push, but it's not enough for the lead yet.
Yeah, but we're only 2 minutes left on the board here, and IVC Stingrays still does have a chance here, but with what we're seeing right now, High Tide is now retaking mid and just painting everything from yellow to purple as we speak, and I think we may be seeing them trying to start another potential push, but I think that's probably the best idea, especially since the IVC Stingrays are really close to switching the lead.
Right, but then you have 2 players go down like this, and it's going to be very close. The Stamp got shut down fairly quickly there. High Tide has the power claim here. They're able to add more to their lead. That's going to be huge here. The question is, what do they do to maintain this basket opening? Apollo goes in, nothing there to back it up. That's going to be important. Java there and Key Dog looking for one more pick. That is at least enough to keep. It's not enough to keep the power clam open. Sorry, Mudkip is able to get 1 player down from High Tide. IVC hanging on just a little bit more. This lead has grown, but it's still very much in play here for IVC.
Yeah, I mean, 32, while it is still a pretty good, a really good push, it's still not enough. It's still not enough to get for it to be a safe push. But as we see here, we see Aikido trying to flank here, but was caught by some of the members from High Tide. And by the looks of it, it seems like High Tide are not. I don't know if they're trying to try to start another push or they're just trying to defend. But looking at the time, it looks like they're just going to be focusing on defending defending not only their basket but also the remaining part of mid that they control.
I mean, honestly, for their pops, it's going to look like they're trying to keep them at bay, but IVC has another opening here. Can they get it with Mudkip and his Soldier Stamp? It's going to be close here. They do get the Benzap down. This should be enough for a power claim here. Percy needs to get there very much. Percy needs to get there quicker, though. Overtime's about to run out. Percy's the only one with a power claim, but someone from Alabama has actually gone to the other basket and popped it open for High Tide, which means that the game will go to High Tide, and this set is now tied 2-2.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that was a lot to wrap my head around. I don't know, like I feel like I sense that there might have been a missed opportunity coming from IVC. If I don't know if you agree to that, Nito. Yeah, cuz I feel like what IVC could have done is that they could have super jumped straight to I believe either the wiper or the brush because they were already near their basket. And yeah, I think they kind of just swam towards it without even realizing. I don't know. What do you think?
It's interesting because the way IVC was playing in that last few minutes of the game, or last few seconds of the game, they didn't come in. It's like both. I've seen it from both of these teams. Okay, both of these teams are kind of struggling in the sense of urgency, in the sense of we need to get this power clam to this side of the map, and we need to put the power clam in the basket now. Percy did. I don't normally like this say things as blunt as this, but it's like it should have been faster. It should have been faster for Percy to get themselves to that other side, and that's what really slowed them down. But the good news is you still held most of them at bay. The only problem is High Tide. For one thing, High Tide did the same thing against. You saw that in game 2, or sorry, you saw that in game 3, and now you're seeing it used against you in game 4. What this means, funny enough, is that these teams just need to play a little faster. I mean, we saw a lot of hesitation from both of these teams, I feel, in these first 4 games. It's almost like they're still trying to find out what's working best for them on the offensive side. IVC sends in a Brush, hoping that Brush could maybe make the plays happen on their own. But ultimately, it's going to take a level of coordination, a level of trying to help your teammates out in a push and trying to help clear a path for both of these teams.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I definitely 100% agree with you. Like these teams, like while they do have like the strategies and everything that they have in their favor, the problem is though, like as you said, they're pretty hesitant to like play a little bit more faster, because if they do, I think if they do play a little bit faster, they might be, I guess, I don't know, scared about if they mess up like these potential pushes and stuff like that. I feel like I don't know how to properly explain this. I'm sure you can better explain this for me, Nito.
First off, what was the question?
I kind of forgot, actually, not gonna lie.
There we go. We need a replay for this set now. Or for man. Now, especially now we have it.
Listen, I think everyone in chat here can cut us some slack here, because we are tired, as you can tell. I feel like when we're tired, we're not at our best when it comes to commentating, so bear with us, folks. I'm really sorry about that. We're really sorry about that.
It's us trying our best. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Much.
We'll say
Until we
that.
find the answer to the question of our question, we're going to move on to Game 5. At some point, we did get word that there was another lobby DC happening, so we're going to wait for that to also be resolved. But Game 5 on Zones, Mahi Mahi Resort, I like this map mode combination, and part of me is a little sad that this is the only combination in which we see Mahi Mahi Resort, because if you ever want a map that encourages people to work together and fight, it's going to be this one. I mean, it's so closely packed in that there's almost no choice but to either find out what happens in a 1v1 very quickly, or be the team that doesn't find out the hard way. You help out your own teammates, and actually encourages you to do that because of how small it is, that there's less distance between, say, an anchor and a frontline weapon. Two front lines working together, there's more opportunities for the team to support each other. And I think that that's the main problem that I'm seeing for both of these teams, or the main problem that's affecting them and possibly making them hesitate. This map could be a little jump start for that.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I think yeah, as you mentioned, the both teams, they definitely have this like feeling where like if they mess themselves up, I think I'm starting to remember. I think I'm remembering what I was going to ask you, Nito. Yeah, like I was saying earlier that if they feel like if they mess up in a specific situation, then it could result in them having a disadvantage here. And yeah, so like I don't know. We're gonna have to find out once. Actually, we're gonna find out as game number 5 commences here. I don't see a whole lot of changes coming from both teams. We've seen the weapons being picked out from the last few games. Actually, I do see the Firefin scope coming from High Tide, which we haven't seen yet.
Firefin scope is very much useful in this map. It's gonna be more useful when the water levels change, but for now, High Tide goes 3 players down. That's gonna be a huge loss there, and I'm surprised Java doesn't go down from that Hydra though. That was a very close call for Java. Lucky that they came out of that with the winner of that fight, but they do go down eventually. IVC Stingrays though, this is where I want to see more of that help. You have Kip here, getting the picks up front. I want to see someone line up with Mudkip, and there's going to be Infernal there after that one pick. And this is going to be huge. If you can get people past this one block, then you can almost certainly ensure that you have a lockout position here. The problem is IVC still hasn't had one player go up there, and they lose Mudkip in the process. No one there to help out. High Tide able to take zone.
Yeah, and as the water levels tied here, folks, High Tide is already now in a pretty good advantage here. Able to, I think we saw earlier that they did retake the zone, but they were struggling a little bit with a couple of members from IVC going in and trying to keep the zone to neutral here. But by the looks of it, High Tide is still like doing their absolute best, trying to get back the zone in their favor here. But we did see the Slosher going down, 2 members coming from. Oh wait, I might be confusing here. I think the sudden change of the cam just like went to High Tide's POV here. But by the looks of it, it looks like IVC was able to retake the zone here, and now hopefully we'll be able to see them pushing up a little bit in front of the objective and maybe get some good and maybe see a lockout coming from.
Now it's Keydog and Java working on his one player at the bottom. Down, I believe. No, they haven't. They do jump back though. And this means High Tide is back in the zone, back in control here. It seems like it's splat zones where both of these teams are trading off on this, or trading off on turns holding the zone here. IVC has the ability to take back. The only problem with IVC is that they haven't found the ability to just hold on to these retakes for much longer, and that's what's disturbing. That's what has caused this game to be much closer. High Tide knows that they get themselves. I think High Tide's starting to realize that they were getting themselves in these 1v1s too often. They're actually winning these more than IVC. The only problem is that IVC knows so well how to take these retakes, but maybe when you go 3 players down like that, now it's going to be a more difficult situation for IVC to come back from.
I just want to highlight that incredible double snipe coming from Lime here. Like, because of that, this now puts High Tide in a really, in a very good advantage here. Now letting them able to get in IVC Stingray's plat here, but the decap does go down on their end, and now IVC is trying to start a potential push, able to try to retake the zone here, keeping it neutral here, and they are able to get it. What a good retake from the Stingrays.
It's always a good retake, and this is great. Now you need something to hold on to it. Infernal and Mudkip are in a good position here because they have players around them. Can they get these 2 picks and find ability to keep themselves up? Oh, they do not actually. Apollo able to get the pick there. And this is what's been slowing down IVC. They do have all of these numbers. The problem is they're just not finding ways to use them properly, and that's what's been slowing them down this whole match. High Tide's still in the lead here, and especially with 3 players down, High Tide is finding all of the big plays when they need it. Percy going down as well. High Tide again finding all these big plays, and that's what's keeping them up front for now.
Yeah, and with their penalty almost over here, it looks like they are this close to getting the knockout. But as I say that, 2 members of High Tide go down, and now IVC Stingrays are now able to get the control here. Goodness me, a lot of back and forth in regards to retaking the zone.
There we go. This is what we've been looking for here. Akito and Mudkip working together here on the side here, but they go down. That is going to be huge for High Tide. You know that's been a struggling point for IVC, but IVC has Infernal now up here. Can they get the lead from those 2 picks? We will see for sure. Apollo's the only one left to paint the zone for High Tide. IVC finally finds what they've been looking for. Then they hold it out for just long enough. They do. They will win Game 5 and take the lead in the set once again, up 3-2.
Wow, that was insane. Oh my goodness. Like, I think from what we saw here, Nito, there was a lot of, like, incredible plays coming from both these teams, and just, like, able to hold their positioning, and just being in front of the zone here, and just, like, you know, just showing off their, like, just showing off all their skills and everything, and yeah, like, both of them just, like, played really well off each other, and yeah, like, that was just really fun to watch here. Definitely, still, as you mentioned before, like, a bit of the small situation, the problem there where, you know, like, the teams need to be a little bit in front more of the objective, and, like, trying to push up a little bit up ahead once you get, like, 2 to 3 members down, on one end to start pushing up to the plat and resulting in a lockout heavy thing. But that's okay there. That was still just incredible from both these teams.
Right, it's good that IVC is finding this out because they know, I think they have this idea of making sure they're fast when they make their comps. I mean, I've seen it in Scorch Clams. I've seen it just now. They know that they need to be fast. The only problem is maybe they don't know how. Maybe they don't know what they do once they're past the objective. And maybe they're still finding some hesitancies we saw in that Zones Mahi match. They kind of knew to go up to enemy territory, but then they would stop right next to this block, and all of a sudden there was a bit of a brain freeze there. But the good news is that next up we have Tower Control at Hagglefish Market. This map is really just a way of saying there's only one way to go and forward. Because of how, I mean, it's all straight. It's all perfect for what IVC is looking for. And I think this could be a good map for them to really hone in on what they found to be so effective in Game 5.
Yeah, I think, like, I definitely have a little bit to say regarding Hagglefish Tower. Like, it is definitely, like, a really solid tower control map. But the problem is, though, like, you know, there's obviously the snowball effect that we've seen, like, a lot when we play it and stuff like that. But another thing, too, though, is that, like, how there's only one pathway that can take control, that can make you head straight to their plat, to the team's plat and everything, and that is the switch area. So I think like what we need to expect from both of these teams is that they have to use their specials, like play off of their specials well, in order for one or two members to go into their plat, try to take control of glass, and even like keep an eye out for flanks and stuff like that. Otherwise, that could result in a very successful push. So hopefully we'll see these special usages in this upcoming game here.
Right. And you mentioned maps. I know you mentioned Switch, and that is a good point to bring up because there are many maps like this. It's like Checkpoint 2 on, say, Mako Mart. It's very, very difficult to get past Checkpoint 2. And if you can get past that checkpoint, and just like here, if you can get past Switch, then all of a sudden your path to victory becomes far more easy. The only problem is that there's so many checkpoints on those two little ramps that it's very hard for either team to just find a way past it. So we're gonna see what both of these teams do. We see the Dreadbringer and a Rapid Pro Deco coming out from High Tide. So lots of huge changes here, especially now that they have a Killer Whales. They now have the Dreadbringer coming back. They keep the bubble and a cooler. See what they can do with that.
Honestly, I like the comp that High Tide is running here. I feel like with Rapid Pro Deco, you could be able to do a whole lot. But as I say that, IVC Stingrays was able to get the wipe. Is it a wipeout or a knockout? I don't even remember. What am I thinking? I think it's the wipeout. But anyways, because of this is now putting them in a very good advantage here, and we see one of the members from IVC Stingrays now in Tide's plat here and trying to take control of glass here. What a good start for them.
That's a great place to hold position. The thing is, you gotta hold this position too. Let's hold this position as well. That's one thing that IVC wants to look forward to. They do have the picks at least. Can we see some follow-up on Walu there? Walu goes down. Akito and Mudkip in a very good position here. Can they find the picks they need here? Akito, oh wow, almost taken from behind there by High Tide. Ahead from High Tide. It's going to be Lime. Apollo now looking to cover this tower, doing it pretty well here. IVC has gone past one checkpoint. They were halfway past another. They've got us 33 remaining, but now High Tide has control of the tower.
Yeah, and IVC Stingray still hasn't beaten past the second checkpoint, so they gotta keep that in mind because, yeah, as we mentioned before about how hard it is to get past the second checkpoint, and it looks like here though we see Mudkip going in a little bit aggressively, releasing the Booyah Bomb. Really was able to get a pick, really good stuff from them. And we see that the Hydra is now going in a little bit like a front line here, just able to like pressure the members of High Tide here. And we see Mudkip keeping an eye out on any flanks here and able to, and really having a good eye on that because they were keeping track of Java with the decav.
Java with the decav now getting one pick that is going to be on Infernal. No, that means the cooler has gone down for a bit. They also got another one here on Akito. High Tide getting the picks. The only problem is once they get those picks, there's not much they've been doing here. Now if you have Lion getting on the tower, that is going to be good for High Tide. You do want someone on tower for it to move forward anyway. But High Tide now getting past this first checkpoint. They have a cooler now, and Apollo just barely grabs it before they miss out on it. And good news about High Tide is that they've got IVC exactly where they want him, almost literally. Apollo has the positioning here to take out Percy. Almost could have taken out more players there. Taking out more players there. But two more go down for IVC. This is even better. High Tide and looking to be in a much better spot now. Now almost clearing the second checkpoint if they can. It's going to be a huge lead swap, and they do.
Yeah, that was really incredible coming from High Tide. Like they really hold it in despite them being at a tough situation. And now they're still keeping this push alive here. Java going in, being a little bit aggressive here, just able to like get a couple of picks here. And now this is letting High Tide able to get 3 points remaining here. Are they going to keep this push going? we see just a fight for the tower, and unfortunately though, that is the end of a push for High Tide, but still, that is a really good push.
And that could have been prevented had that tower not been there to block the Reed Slider. That would have been catastrophic for IVC. So they were at least using the power of the tower there to stop the Reed Slider from making this any worse. Now that IVC has control, and certainly have control of the tower here, what they will do is it's going to be something we see very soon, as High Tide has the cooler now. They do get one player down, and the player with the pick just backs up here and able to come back here. Wally now goes in with the power restarted their pick. Can they get another one? Yes, they do. If it's going to be with the Dreadringer. Mudkip and Percy, the only people on IVC left to hold on to this tower. But one of them goes down. Percy's going to be very weak here. Goes down as well. High Tide keeping things locked down very well.
Yeah, and we see here that High Tide, sorry. We see that High Tide is now trying to just keep pushing the tower, even though that they can defend, since there are only like 10 seconds remaining. They just want to keep this push going, just to like stall out time and everything. And it looks like here. Oh, okay. You know what? Not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting an overtime to kick in. But unfortunately, though, I think they might have the Stingrays might have lost the tower, and resulting in them not able to get the overtime activated. But High Tide able to get game number 6 here, and we're back to a tiebreaker, or a tie. Sorry.
I mean, at this rate, we might just need that tiebreaker. How much back and forth we're getting from both of these teams, but the good news for both of these teams is that, I mean, they're finding out very quickly how to be aggressive. I mean, as soon as you send 1 to 2 people up past objective, you're golden. You're getting all these picks one way or another, even if that means you go 1 player down, 2 players down. Whatever you do, whatever disadvantage you find yourself in, you are going to get points, and you're going to get more points than you did maybe in those previous games. There are still about at least 2 more games to go for either side. So we're going to get a game 8. But the question will be, now that these teams are finding out that they need to send people past objective in order to win, or in order to beat the other team, how do they do it?
Yeah, like from what we saw, like both of these teams, they know exactly what they're planning. The problem is that as you mentioned before here, Nito, remind me again, what's that supposed to be?
That's a weird.
I know that sounded a little bit poorly worded here.
No. I'm not calling you out for that. I'm just like, the brain's still operating.
Okay.
Slightly.
Fair enough. Yeah, honestly, yeah, our brains are still dead here, folks, and we're still like in game number 6, and we thought that this was gonna get us a little bit more, I guess, awake or something, but apparently not. We're still a little bit out of it today. But that's okay. I mean, it is Friday. I mean, it's been a long week, so you might as well can cut us some slack here. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move from that one. We're gonna be heading to game number 7, Undertow on Rainmaker.
And this is another map that's going to be important for both of these teams to find what works best in making sure you can keep your players up, because Undertow Spillway is 2 games. I like to call it 2 games when it comes to Rainmaker. 1 game is before the pedestal. 1 game is after, because after that pedestal, it's open season. It's open season. You need to get past that pedestal for you to do anything worthwhile, and it's so easy to get up to that first checkpoint, that second checkpoint, and this is why I think it's very important for both of these teams. If you can get people past that first pedestal and keep them there, you can your chances of winning the game go up tenfold. So this is why it's more important than ever for both of these teams to find out how they keep players past the objective.
I really like how you described how Undertow Spillway is separated into like 2 games in Rainmaker, and I 100% agree with you on that. And I also like, again, I know I've already talked about this before in the last time I commentated, but in Undertow Spillway, it's such a cool map where there's always bound to be a lot of fights happening in certain areas of the map. Especially when you're like pushing the objective and stuff like that. So I'm very curious to see if we're going to be seeing some of that here, but I think like from what we've seen in the last the last couple of games, I don't think we'll expect a whole lot of that, but who knows? We're going to have to find out soon enough. Oh, it looks like game number 7 is commencing here.
That's right, game 7 on the way. Undertow Rainmaker. We're gonna see what both of these teams come out with. IVC. We got more splat bombs here, so I might be able to. Now that is interesting. Okay, we see a Kraken as well as an Ultra Stamper. Kraken is not something we saw come out from High Tide earlier in the set, so this is certainly going to help them if they want to keep players up, and actually if they want to keep themselves up. Kraken has done wonders for any team on Rainmaker.
Yeah, and we did see the decap going down on the side of High Tide, and now IVC is already at an advantage here, able to get 3 players as this Rainmaker gets pushed and break the checkpoint here. And now phase number 1 or game number 1 in Undertow Spillway is complete, and now we're heading straight to game number 2, or phase 2 as I like to call it.
Phase 2 is on the way, and Phase 2 is again getting people past this objective. Note they only got barely past this pedestal. Akito is now the only player left. Inferno's doing a really good job though of holding the front. And so that's going to be something you want to watch out for, especially for High Tide. IVC gets up to 17 remaining. This is what I mean. The amount of points you can get from that one alley alone is going to do huge numbers for your team. And that's what IVC is taking advantage of. High Tide now down to a 17 remaining push from IVC.
I do want to highlight earlier that that Percy was in a bit of a tight pickle here, as they were getting cornered by both the Kraken and one of the players from High Tide, and was able to successfully get out of there. So really awesome maneuvering to escape. But anyways, here we see High Tide now having the control here, and will they be able to get break the first checkpoint? They are. And now, we may see... Ooh! Wow, what an incredible bubbler just popping out of nowhere, being popped out of nowhere, resulting in the sniper not getting a shot.
And that is also a missed opportunity there. That would have been a great reset for High Tide. But there's another pick from Akito. There's another one. There's 2 with the E-leader. Can we see a third come out for Akito? Yes, we do! Just in the nick of time. They up to 27 remaining now. High Tide has nobody else to back this push up. IVC saved themselves from what could have been a dangerous move from High Tide. They keep the lead. They are now still up by at least 10 points. We're going to see how High Tide responds, especially with how close they were to swapping the lead.
Yeah, and as we see here, High Tide is still not giving up. We see Java like still out here trying to like skirmish around, but unfortunately gets picked on by Mudkip's suction bomb, resulting in a penalty for Java here. But it wasn't effective whatsoever. We see High Tide still doing pretty good here, and we see them using all their specials here. And oh my god, what an incredible hammer cancel there.
And that was crucial, especially for IVC. High Tide can't let High Tide have anything here, even if it's one pick. High Tide, this map can just be so crucial for those picks. Habalo getting one of them, by the way, with that well string here. There's another bubbler coming in for High Tide. It's ready here. Will they use it? Java's been known to do it very well. very good job with the positioning here. They've actually positioned it to where they can get to this past the front line there, but nothing yet because they go 2 players down, forcing them to back up. It's just Java and Apollo. They're Java forced to fight over at the end. Swapping places with Key Dog is going to be Apollo. IVC still holding this Rainmaker very well. This V leader is essentially guarding it, and see how well this works for them with a minute to go as the Rainmaker resets.
Only a minute remaining here, folks. Only a minute remaining. And as we see here, High Tide still having a lot of control here in mid here, and now trying to again start a potential push. And we see 2 members from IVC going down, 3 going down. Will this result in a lead swap? It is! Are they gonna get the knockout? They are! And game number 7 goes in the favor of High Tide.
What did I say? That is going to be the main defining moment of the game. Which team gets everybody past checkpoint 1?
God.
And that is what High Tide did so well there. I mean, that was a wipeout, the best possible scenario you could have had for either team here. High Tide making such great use of it. And, I mean, what more can there be said that would result in a KO at the most crucial moment? High Tide now looking at match point.
Oh, man, that was absolutely incredible here. Yeah, High Tide still just, didn't give up at all, even though that they were, even though the time was ticking and everything, they still just, didn't give up. And from what I've noticed, they were well aware about how much control they have of the map, and they could still potentially get a push. And sure enough, it all worked out in the end. And now they are now in the lead for the first time during the set, I believe. And we may see them completing this entire set. I don't know. I honestly would love to see a game number 9 here. I would love a tiebreaker here.
I mean, who wouldn't? A game 9 is always top material for any stream. And with the way both of these teams were playing, it may very well happen. I don't like making predictions because I know the commentator's curse is looking for that. But
yeah.
Game 8, no matter what, Game 8 is going to happen. And with what High Tide did in that last set, Game 8 is a defining moment for High Tide. It's like now you're going to Clan Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime. It's similar to what you found at Scorch Gorge. You're able to sneak a win off of that there. You were able to sneak a win off of IVC there. You did very well on Rainmaker Undertow and getting people past the objective and making sure you can shut them down like that. Clan Blitz and Barnacle and Dime is a perfect situation to let us know, okay, we've done that once. We can do it again. We can do it even better. This is a defining moment for High Tide because they could very much win this one. Only if everything comes together.
Yeah. And as for the Stingrays, I think from what we might expect here, I'm honestly hoping that we may see both the brush and the what's it called? The Splatana Wiper from their end, because I feel like from what we saw, it definitely worked out a lot well in their favor, especially since they were running Double Hammer, which did made High Tide struggle a little bit. But I feel like after what happened in Scorch Gorge Clams, we're not too sure about that, but we're gonna have to find out soon enough as game number 8 commences here.
High Tide opting for what they've stuck with most of the part. We do see a S-Blast come out. Apollo sticking with the Slosher. Lime and Java, of course, sticking with their weapons. IVC, though, most of what we've seen in the past, 2 shooters here, a Vanilla Splatter Shot and a T-Tech. So 2 of the more reliables, I like to call them, and then you got a Junior there for added bomb pressure and added bubble. So High Tide knows what they need to do to win. Will we see more of it? And for IVC, what do you do to keep High Tide at bay in that same situation?
From what I'm seeing here, like it looks like IVC definitely want to. Oh my god, what an incredible direct there coming from Walu. But yeah, like I think with what IVC is running, I think they want to go with like a bomb spam comp here, just to annoy the members of High Tide here, which is definitely really working out as they're definitely struggling to get this push activate. And we see two members on the side of High Tide going down here.
Two members, another one going down as well for for IVC actually. As we see High Tide close to the basket here, nothing yet. They only have 2 power clams, it should be worth noting. And they do get the picks again, but they don't have the power clam. You know what? They're at 4 or 5. They're at 7 now, so they have enough for these power clam if they can get it up. But they're still struggling here. This is what I was talking about. This is be a defining moment, because if High Tide can't get themselves past this and they get one push off of 1 power clam, then IVC still has a huge opportunity to take this lead away from them, especially if they're still hoarding these power clams that were in front of High Tide not too long ago, as High Tide backs up here, and we might just go back to a neutral battle here, especially with 1 player going down.
Yeah, now as the Stingrays are now able to retake their plat here and potentially retake their mid. But as I say that, 2 members do go down on their side here, and now High Tide is back again and retaking mid here, and even Stingrays' plat.
Right, and we're still... Notice, okay, this is, you might say, average Splatoon match with the way nobody... Or sorry, Splatoon 3 Clan Blitz match with the way nobody has scored points here, but it's, again, the same story here. None of these teams have been able to get the bigger push off of the other team. And while High Tide looks like they've been doing better just by the way they've been positioned this whole match, they haven't been able to find this push. Or they haven't been able to open a basket. That's going to be huge. Now they have 13, 14. This is enough to open a basket, and they will. As soon as I told them they weren't able to, they do it right in front of me. 59 remaining. That's going to be a great push for High Tide.
Yeah, definitely a very solid push here for High Tide. But now IVC Stingrays is now able to take control here of mid as well as High Tide's plat. We do see trying to get we do see 7 clams coming from Aikido here. So it looks like they just need 1 more clam in order to get the push in order to activate the push. And sure enough, they are. Cooler is out. All the specials are coming out. It looks like this bucket is trying to, you know, like is trying to like annoy them, but it really wasn't working out for them, and IVC is able to break their basket here. Are we gonna see more clams getting in the basket? We do see a couple of them going in. More coming in. Oh dear, they only just need 1 more clam to flip the lead here.
But you also need people past this basket. IVC is going to want that basket clams like there's no tomorrow. If you don't get people covering that basket, and they do eventually, it's so close there. See, this is what I was talking about. IVC has enough to where they nearly got the lead there. Saved by High Tide. It's going to be that push. Now they have an opportunity to get more power clams in. Do they have people up there? Yes, they do. They have at least Java. You might be able to get this 1 pick. There's a bubble for added pressure there. And there's a power clam. The line makes it. It's going to be huge. Yes, they do. 33 remaining. 50 seconds to go in this match. And High Tide looking closer and closer to winning Division 5 if they can hold on to this for a little bit longer. Sorry. Yes, Division 6 actually. They can hold on for this a little bit longer.
And with only less than 40 seconds remaining here, I feel like High Tide do need to be careful here, because I feel like when it comes to Barnacle and Dime in Clan Blitz, anything can happen here. And as we see here, IVC Stingrays are at a pretty good spot right now, and oh, we see 3 members all going down. What happened? I didn't even know what was going on here.
It's a lot of chaos going into mid, but High Tide is this close to getting themselves to the basket. They didn't have enough for a power clam. They did not yet. 3 clams stand between them and the lead. IVC has that power clam, so we will be going to overtime. As we saw, High Tide still has them held back. There's 1 player going down from IVC. IVC now has half of overtime to make it all the way to the other side of this map and get it in, but they won't. High Tide holding them down. Nobody there to stop them unless it's going to be this 1 player down. But no time is left. Too little, too late. High Tide wins this set and is your Division 6 champion.
Man. Oh man, I really was manifesting for a game number 9. Like I really wanted the tiebreaker so badly here, Nito. But I think I might have. I think I might have activated the commentator curse. Gosh darn it, man. I feel guilty now. I'm sorry, everybody. I am really sorry that I said a little too soon on that. But regardless, that was honestly just an incredible set to watch. Congratulations to High Tide on winning Division 6 Grand Finals. Really incredible stuff. And as for IVC Stingrays, good games to you. Really great plays as well throughout this entire set here. Like honestly, like both these teams really showed what they made off and really showed how they got here to grand finals. So that's honestly just amazing. Like just incredible stuff, honestly.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, in any finals match, you are going to get the best from both teams, and this set was no different. I mean, we saw what both of these teams were capable of throughout different points of the game, and it almost seemed like there were multiple times throughout that set where we saw glimpses of offense, saw glimpses of what the best they were able to do. And it was, I mean, I think the score for once actually tells you enough. This set was decided almost at the end for every one of them, except for the ones where they were just snuck past, like in Game 3. But
I still cannot get over Game 3.
No, that is going anytime any team gets a quick Rainmaker push there like that, just sneaks one past, it's always a fun sight to see. But ultimately, Roll Tide is going to be cheering on for High Tide here as they win. University of Alabama wins the Division 6 championship. Irvine Valley getting second place here in what was most certainly an exciting set, but that's not going to be the only grand finals you see from the CCA. There's going to be more throughout the weekend, but as far as we know, that is going to be it for us. Severino, there's a lot of places we can find each other. One of them's here. Where are the other places people can find you?
Well, you can find me on Blue Sky and on Twitch at Ciberino. As a matter of fact, actually, I will be streaming my All for One run with Scurvy. So if you want to see that,
there you go.
You're welcome to find me there. But what about you, Nito? Where can the awesome people in chat find you?
Under the picture of my adorable cat paper, you can see my Blue Sky handle, and as well as Nito use that bluesky.social. I am also Nito and use that on Twitch rather. And if you want to find me elsewhere, I don't actually know where I'll find myself. I'm a little tired, as you may have seen. But that's beside the point. Lots of CCA league action, lots of action throughout the competitive Splatoon community. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of it on the socials. You're going to hear a lot of it everywhere. Lots of stuff to look forward to this weekend. But as for us, that's going to be it tonight. CCA will have more streams later on tomorrow. But again, that's going to be it for us. Good night. Good evening. It's certainly still evening. Might still be night for some of y'all. Either way, we'll see y'all next time.
Good time zone, everybody.
Good time zone.